Part 111. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1102. Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao were extremely nervous. At this moment, they were almost worried to death. Ancestor, is this crazy? Actually using some pepper powder, chili powder, and the like to pretend to be the divine origin. It's over, these terrifying thunderbirds will definitely be furious, and the three of them will all be dead. If you are not eaten by the thunder vulture, you will probably be eaten by the thunderbird. Duguyuking was also sweating in her heart. However, the thunderbird just glanced at it doubtfully, and with a wave of its wings, the bottles and jars in Duguyuking's hands suddenly arrived in front of it. Hey, these can be called Dao treasure bottles. Suddenly, the thunderbird spoke in surprise. Looking at the ordinary bottles and jars, the bird's eyes actually emitted a light of surprise. Not weaker than the imperial weapon. What kind of origin needs to be contained in this kind of avenue treasure bottle? The thunderbird's eyes were full of expectation. Upon hearing this, Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao were both shocked. Avenue Aquarius. At this moment, their three views were refreshed once again. That's right, most of the ancestors' things come from Senior Li's small courtyard, and there are no ordinary things in that small courtyard at all. Fan Peiming suddenly realized. Fan Yaoyao was also startled for a moment before she reacted and said, "Ah, the things from the boss's house are really good at acting. Is the Dao Bao bottle pretending to be a spice jar? Oil paper umbrellas, condiment jars, these treasures from the Great Avenue, are they too Li Fan?" Hearing this, Duguyuking was half relieved and said calmly, "Yes, this is the Dao treasure vase." The thunderbird opened a jar expectantly. That jar contained cumin powder. "What kind of smell is this? It contains the essence of the Great Road, so strong, so strong." Suddenly, the terrifying thunderbird made a sound of surprise and said, "It is indeed the divine origin." It was ecstatic, and then opened other bottles and cans. "This fiery red powder looks like it is ground into peerless fire crystals. Take a whiff, and the blood in your whole body is rolling. Ahem, why is it a little choking? This grey powder, hey, I took a sip, and half of my body felt a little numb. However, this source of power is too strong, too strong." While opening the bottle, the thunderbird shouted in surprise, danced and swayed its wings. Other thunderbirds also noticed it and flew over to watch. What a powerful source! The origin of this seems to be stronger than the ancestral holy source we use. Terrible! A group of thunderbirds looked at those seasoning powders with eager eyes and praised them endlessly. Seeing this scene, Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao were immediately confused. Is this okay? Seasoning, sacred origin? They suddenly realized how terrible that small mountain village was. In their eyes, the ancestral holy source is the most precious and supreme thing in the world, the crystallization of the efforts of the ancestors. But now it seems like it's not as good as the seasonings in Senior Li's kitchen. Even the supreme source is acting, disguised as seasoning. Fan Yaoyao felt like she couldn't imagine how much Senior Li loved acting. At this time, the leader of the Thunderbird was overjoyed and said, very good, very good. My eldest brother is really thoughtful. I want to present these origins to my mother immediately." After saying that, he took the bottles and cans and flew towards the center of the pool. In the center of the pool, the Thunderbird, which has always been as huge as an elephant, uses the ancestral source as its nest, lying in its nest with its eyes closed as if sleeping. That bird, could it be the legendary Thunderbird? Fan Peiming couldn't help but whisper. In myths and legends, the ancestors created an ancestral Thunderbird to help the world mine mines. Could it be that this Thunderbird captured the ancestral holy source in the pure land of the ancestors, and then gave birth to a nest of Thunderbirds, one of which became the Thunder Emperor? It's very possible. Mother. Thunder, please see me. The ptarmigan held a pile of bottles and cans and spoke in front of the old female bird. The old female bird slowly opened her eyes and said, "My mother is concentrating on hatching eggs, why did you call me?" Hearing this, Lei Ming respectfully handed over the bottles and jars and said, "To inform my mother, my eldest brother has recently found the ruins of our ancestors and unearthed many sacred origins, which were sent to us. These origins seem to be stronger than our ancestral saint origins." Hearing this, the old mother bird thought, and the bottles and jars flew to her and opened them. "No. What is contained in this is the origin of the white mist." The old female bird was shocked and said, "In this world, the origin of white mist actually still exists." Hearing this, the thunderbird named Thunder was frightened and said, "The origin of the white mist? Isn't this kind of thing completely annihilated?" The old female bird was trembling a little as she spoke. Since the fire of white mist was extinguished and the source of white mist in the lamp of origin was taken away, there is no more source of white mist in this world. Now I have found some, which is so precious. If I take the source of these white mists, I will probably give birth to a bunch of emperor's sons in this nest of eggs. Her words were filled with excitement. Hearing this, Lei Ming and other thunderbirds were also shocked. It should be noted that the old mother bird snatched the ancestral holy source and turned it into a thunder pool here. After absorbing it for countless years, she gave birth to a brood of thunderbirds. Only one of them had the appearance of an emperor and became the Thunder Emperor. The other thunderbirds were much worse after all. Now the old mother bird is preparing to lay a second clutch of eggs, but it is almost impossible for another emperor's son to appear. These sacred origins can be changed. Mother, please take it quickly. Thunder, etc., all have eager eyes. Immediately, the old female bird nodded, and she poured a lot of cumin, chili powder, etc. from the bottles into her mouth. Ahem! Her huge bird body trembled, and the chili powder and cumin went down her throat together. It was so choking, and there were tears in the bird's eyes. All the chili noodles and cumin are poured out, and only the peppercorns are left, with the most peppercorns left. Extraordinary, extraordinary! The old female bird gasped for a moment, then picked up the pepper noodles and poured half of the bottle. Suddenly, the whole bird froze. Numb. Her entire bird body was numb, and she felt unable to move at this moment. "Mom, this sacred source is very numb." When Lei Ming saw this, he also spoke. He had already experienced it just now. Half of his body was numb after just one sniff, not to mention that the mother bird had eaten so much. He immediately took the pepper noodles and said with eagerness in his eyes, "Children, can you take it?" But the old mother bird was motionless and couldn't express her meaning at all. "Mom, if you don't speak, then you are acquiescing." Lei Ming was overjoyed, turned around and said, "Brothers, sisters, come here quickly, let's share the divine origin." Then, a group of birds, 30 or 40 in total, drank most of the remaining bottle of holy origin. They all eagerly devoured the pepper noodles without hesitation. Then, "Ma!" A big thunderbird fell to the ground, motionless, as if it had died of sleep. "Suhu!" A little ptarmigan, his tongue was numb, he couldn't speak clearly, he froze, and his eyes rolled wildly. Each thunderbird, including Thunderbird, fell to the ground one after another. At this moment, all the thunderbirds in the pool were mauled. On the other side, Fan Yao Yao and Fan Peiming stared at the scene with eyes wide open. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1103. In the thunder pool, those terrifying thunderbirds that had annihilated even the rules in the flutter of their wings, at this moment. It was as if they were drunk, they all fell down, scattered and scattered. Fan Peiming and Fan Yao Yao were both shocked. What's going on? This, is the seasoning? This, must be the ultimate anesthetic, right? Ancestor, what a wonderful plan. Fan Peiming couldn't help but speak. At this moment, he admired Duguyuking so much that he fell to the ground. No wonder the ancestor was so stable and calm just now. It turns out that the old man had already made a plan and was confident. It looks like peppercorn noodles, but it is actually a terrifying anesthetic that can numb even the supreme Thunderbird. Hearing this, Duguyuking couldn't help but ponder. Now if he said that he just brought the wrong seasoning when he went out, would anyone believe it? Ancestor, what should we do now? Fan Yao Yao, on the other hand, looked excited. Looking at the Thunderbirds in this pool, she felt eager to try. Dugao took a quick glance and said, "That old henbird is the key. The ancestral saint source in the entire Thunder Pool has established a certain connection with her. This connection must be cut off, before it can be taken away." He thought for a moment and said, "Bake it?" Hearing this, Fan Peiming was so shocked that he almost jumped up. "What, roast it? This is the Thunder Emperor's mother. Now, halfway up Lidao Mountain. Junior brother Shuijing, are you feeling better? Have you vomited completely?" Shui Qingling is patting Shuijing on the back. She waited outside for a long time, but Shuijing never came back, so she had to come over again. As a result, there was a huge pit, and she would have fallen into it if she hadn't been walking slowly. She shouted for a long time before she felt something moving in the mud somewhere at the bottom of the lake. She tentatively threw it down with a belt, but she didn't expect, it was really Shuijing. Shuijing was in such a miserable state at this moment, his crystal clothes were all stained with silt. The key was that his stomach was full of silt, and all his orifices were filled, and he was vomiting so fiercely. Cough cough, woo woo, cough cough. Finally, after a long time, Shuijing finally finished vomiting and burst into tears. He felt like he was half dead. "Junior brother, although you have suffered a little this time, the Emperor's court will definitely look at you with admiration after getting a lake of the original water from the Thunder Emperor." Shui Qingling couldn't help but speak. She had seen it and found that this lake was definitely built by the Thunder Emperor when he was in the water-revealing realm. The water in it can be called a treasure, containing the origin of the Thunder Emperor. Now, except for the mud at the bottom of the lake, there is not a drop of water left. It had to be said that although Shuijing was embarrassed, she felt that Shuijing digging can dig out the soil cleanly, and fetching water can get every drop. Moreover, regardless of gains and losses, we are not afraid of danger. No wonder Elder Shui Diheng values his descendant so much. Shuijing does have many outstanding qualities and is definitely worth cultivating. After hearing this, Shuijing, who had just finished vomiting, suddenly felt a little depressed and said, I didn't get any water, not even a drop. I don't know which grandson drained the water in this place, leaving silt to harm me. Damn it, is it a dog? Such a dog." He was simply angry and yelled. This happened twice. Could it be that Leiting had already expected that he and others would come to steal, so he was prepared for so many pitfalls? Unacceptable. Shui Qingling, on the other hand, had a complicated look on her face. Hey, Shuijing was too defensive about herself. You have obtained so much Thunder Emperor origin earth and origin water, but are you afraid of grabbing some for yourself? Why bother? She couldn't help but shake her head, but didn't say anything more and said, "Junior brother, don't worry, I won't take your credit, let's go." The two moved on. Not long after, they felt another place where thunder light gathered and thunder path surged. Ahead, it should be the place where the original wood of Radu is located, right? Shuijing had some thoughts in his heart again, but this time he was a little afraid. What if there was another trap? Saint. He couldn't help it, or he could call Shui Qingling to join him. But Shui Qingling said calmly, "Junior brother, go ahead. Don't worry, senior sister won't take your credit." Shui Jing. A trace of hatred suddenly rose in his heart. This Shui Qingling was indeed not a good thing. Was he deliberately trying to make himself laugh? "Okay, then I'll go by myself," he said in a deep voice. "Humph, I don't believe that I, Shui Jing, can always be so unlucky. I don't believe there is nothing in this Ladeo mountain. After all, this is Ladeo mountain, who can empty out those original treasures of the Thunder Emperor? This is impossible." He rushed toward the area. Shui Qingling, on the other hand, took one look at the mountain and was not prepared to stay where he was. "Well, let's go around the woods and wait for Shui Jing in front of the woods. Now. The Pure Land of Ladeo is now under martial law. The entrance to the Ladeo Pure Land from the outside world has been completely closed, and the connection between the Pure Land and the outside world has been completely severed. In the sky, the guards of the Ladeo Emperor's court patrolled everywhere, with pairs of terrifying eyes scanning the entire Thunder Deo Pure Land to ensure that there would be no trouble when the Thunder Emperor came down. On the ground, in a huge palace, Xuanhuan and many other Taoists, who had finished bathing, were already sitting cross-legged in the palace, waiting for the arrival of the Thunder Emperor. Boom! Suddenly, a surging thunder energy filled the imperial palace. In an instant, Lei Dongyun and others who were standing aside were ready to salute. However, just as they made a move, their whole bodies had already transformed in space, and suddenly, they appeared in the open space outside the palace. They left without knowing it. "Thunder Emperor, his old man has gone in." They spoke excitedly. "The descent has begun. Our journey in lightning will be continued. The predictions made by the legendary dancing master are simply nonsense. Yes, there are so many destiny disciples, and even the perfect disciple Xuanhuan, the emperor will definitely succeed. All the cultivators in Lei Tu are looking forward to it." And in the main hall, the group of Tianming Taoists who were waiting suddenly became quiet. Even the already crazy Yuan Wuji, Jian Wuming, Zheng Shisha, and others stopped making noise, as if there was some kind of power that made them fall into silence involuntarily. In the dark, there seems to be some kind of footsteps approaching. The footsteps are clear and rhythmic, walking step by step. Under these footsteps, everyone's Taoist scenery can't help but open up like a picture scroll. In a ray of blue light, a supreme being walked towards the Tao scenery of many Taoists. At this moment, all the Taoists subconsciously worshipped this light with extreme piety, like fanatical believers. Good night. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1104. In the main hall, all the Taoist disciples of Tianming knelt down, pious and enthusiastic, like a virgin waiting for her king. Even the most secret Taoist scenery has been opened on its own initiative, allowing others to enter and exit. In that thunder light, a figure gradually appeared. It was a middle-aged man, his god was covered in blue imperial clothes, and with every step he took, blue lightning was released silently, and behind him, thousands of phantoms of thunderbirds followed. Thunder Emperor. At this moment, in the crowd, Xuanhuan looked at the people around him, feeling a little uneasy for no reason. It's over, how come these people have opened the Dao Jingdi? If you don't open it yourself, you will definitely be targeted. However, there are too many things in his Taoist scenery, including 5 statues, small black towers, and burning black lamps. Once someone discovers them, who knows if he can survive? He bit the bullet and slowly opened the Dao Jingdi. It's over, it will definitely be discovered. Ao Wushuan is despairing. Just when he was desperate, sure enough, he found that the Thunder Emperor's eyes had fallen on him. Has it been seen? Ao Wushuan became even more worried. However, Lei Emperor just nodded slightly and said, "Yes, he is worthy of being the perfect Taoist disciple of Tianming. This person should have personally come into contact with the black mist. Otherwise, even the Dao scenery would not have become pitch black, making this emperor unable to see through." Lei De whispered, he saw that Ao Wushuan's Taoist scenery was full of darkness and nothing else. At the same time, he also discovered that there were two young men on the other side, and there was also a black light in the Taoist landscape. Others, such as Yuanwuji and others, although they are also Daozai who survived the Hank Mountains, there seems to be nothing special about the Dao scenery. Those who worship me are all my sons. The majestic voice of the Thunder Emperor sounded and said, "Today, I will grant you the mark of Thunder Dao." At this moment, he waved his hand, and suddenly, rays of thunder, as if containing eternal secrets, were mysterious, floating towards the Taoist scenery of everyone. When Ao Wushuan saw this, he couldn't help being slightly shocked. Didn't the Thunder Emperor see the small black tower and the black fire in his Taoist scenery? There was no movement. He was immediately overjoyed. This was great. If it was exposed, it would be over. Now, it should be the so-called submission ceremony, right? Ao Wushuan whispered. According to the information he had learned before, it seems that after the Dao is successfully surrendered, Lei Dao will successfully appear in his Dao scenery. This was a great opportunity for others, but Ao Wushuan felt that he didn't need it. He didn't want a pair of eyes in Daojingdi to look at him. After all, his Daojingdi had too many secrets. Forget it, I hope that tens of millions of people will descend on my Dao scenery, just surrender to others, and let others succeed. He couldn't help but pray. Now, on Lei Dao Mountain. Damn it, is there something wrong with Lei Ting? Is there something wrong? Shui Jing couldn't bear it anymore. He couldn't bear it at all. He cursed and was very angry. He just, simply let Lian get into a trap again. A place shrouded in lightning, but when I rushed in, it was full of pits. The key is, those pits are still continuous. As soon as he climbs out, he falls into another one, causing him backache. Then, he found another crack, and there seemed to be a burning breath in it. He couldn't help but go down to explore again, but he couldn't find a single bird feather, and his feet were sprained. Now, he was lame and covered in injuries. Beside him, Shui Qingling was supporting him, with a look of confusion on his face. What the hell is going on? Could it be that Shui Jing was really tricked and didn't get anything? No, it's impossible. Lei Dao Mountain is a forbidden place in the entire Thunder Court. It is the place where the Thunder Emperor was born, and it is the foundation for the Thunder Emperor to become an emperor. Lei Ting himself would never mess around on Lei Dao Mountain, and besides their Water Path Emperor Court, who would dare to plot the background of the Thunder Emperor? After much deliberation, Shui Jing is the most suspicious. She couldn't help but glance at Shui Jing again. The sadness and anger of being cheated, the unwillingness to return empty-handed, were vividly displayed on his face. You can really act. She couldn't help but whisper with emotion. What did you say, senior sister? Shui Jing said. Oh, it's nothing. I said Lei Ting is really cheating. Shui Jing. The two of them kept moving forward, and before long, they were almost approaching the top of the mountain. Huh? The thunder light in front of me is stronger than anywhere else, and it has the aura of the sacred origin. Here, the ancestral sacred source that Thunder Ancestor Bird captured back then, should be here. Shui Qingling couldn't help but spoke in surprise. And at this moment, the top of Mount Rado, in the thunder pool formed by the ancestral holy source, It's really forbidden to bake. Zhuge spoke with emotion while flipping through Ancestral Thunderbird. This is the longest time he has spent on barbecue. Hongyi kept spitting fire next to him, and he was exhausted. The main reason is that the Ancestral Thunderbird has such a big background. It is the first Thunderbird in the world and the mother of the Thunder Emperor. Even though it was knocked over, the origin of its body is very extraordinary, and it can resist for a long time. Now it's finally cooked. The entire huge bird body is golden brown and the oil is dripping. The key is that it is full of fragrance and there is no need to add any other seasonings. Let's eat. Zhuge spoke. Fan Yaoyao couldn't wait any longer. Now she rolled up her sleeves and started to tear off a piece of Thunderbird meat and started to chew it. Wow, it smells so good, numb, and spicy. It tastes so delicious. She admired it as she ate it. Zhuge also tore off a piece of meat. The numbing smell was still there, but it was acceptable. After all, the Thunderbird had eaten the pepper noodles, and when roasting, they threw away all the internal organs. Yes, just barely, but I am an old bird after all, and my meat is a bit too weak. Zhuge couldn't help but speak. Fan Peiming, on the other hand, was trembling a little at this moment. Oh my god, what kind of experience is it to see the Thunder Emperor's mother being plucked and roasted with your own eyes? Now he is actually being eaten and is being looked down upon as a piece of meat. Outrageous, too outrageous. He couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. So delicious. The matter has come to an end, no matter what, my sister ate it anyway, and so did my ancestor. If you don't eat, you won't eat for free. He immediately took action, grabbed a piece of bird meat, and devoured it. At this moment, Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao were both covered with lightning, flashing continuously. The power of thunder was washing their bodies, allowing them to make continuous progress. Finally, the three of them devoured their food to the point where they were almost full. However, half of it is not finished yet. Ancestor, isn't this too wasteful? Fan Peiming looked at the remaining half of the Thunderbird and couldn't help but speak. Zhuge thought for a moment and said. Then why don't you pack it up and go back? Fan Peiming was waiting for the sentence, so he started directly and said. Thank you, ancestor. Then, he also pretended to be half a big bird, with a look of satisfaction on his face. After eating and drinking, Zhuge stood up and said. The connection between the ancestor saint source and old Thunderbird here has been severed. You can take them away. Although the ancestral saint source is precious, it is actually of no use to him. After all, the most indispensable thing in today's small mountain villages is various sources of Taoism, the quality of which is even higher than what is found here. Fan Yaoyao and Fan Peiming were even more excited. Immediately, they released their Taoist scenery in full, desperately trying to incorporate the ancestral holy source of this place into their bodies. After a long time, finally, the entire thunder pool was empty, and every breath of the holy source was absorbed. Ancestor, don't you want these birds to go into the water? Fan Peiming, on the other hand, was still looking at the various birds in the water on the ground. These birds are in the water, but they belong to the old Thunderbird. They contain very rich essence substances, and they are definitely considered treasures. If they were put up for auction outside, other emperors would probably be tempted. When Zhuge heard this, her heart was really complicated. How could she have such a descendant? The soil has been dug out, the water has been exhausted, and there is not a single bit of lava left, even the Thunder Emperor's mother was packed up and taken away. Now, he doesn't even let go of the water? Is that human being? As expected of a dog. I don't want these things anymore. He couldn't help but speak. The main reason was that the bird's saliva contained too much peppercorns, and he was afraid that Fan Peiming and others would take it back and cause problems after eating it. Hearing this, Fan Peiming's eyes were full of regret. However, the ancestor has already said this, he has no choice but to stop. Let's go to the Tiangong. Zhuge Yuqing spoke. The heads of many ancestors were hung in the sky, and today, it is time to take them away. They turned to leave. However, suddenly, a surprised voice came from behind. Why are you here? Only Shui Qingling and Shui Jing finally arrived. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1105. Why are you here? Shui Jing saw Zhuge Yuqing and the others and spoke in shock. How did they get here? Aren't they already imprisoned in the sky prison by Lei Teng? Even Shui Qingling frowned and looked at the three of them in confusion. What, you can come but we can't. Fan Peiming said coldly. He didn't have a good impression of anyone in the imperial court. Zhuge Yuqing also looked at the two of them indifferently. He vaguely felt that it was a bit interesting, aren't Shuidao Diding and Lei Teng a cooperative relationship? As a result, people from the Shuidao imperial court secretly sneaked into Lei Dao mountain? What do you want? But Shui Jing suddenly thought of something, and asked angrily, saying, did you take away the Thunder Emperor's original soil, original water, original wood, etc.? He had always felt that he was being cheated, but now, only these three people were in front. It's probably them. Shui Qingling also became suspicious. Along the way, she still didn't believe Shui Jing, because in her opinion, no one could come in except them. Now, since someone else got there first, maybe those three people really dug those holes? So what if I dug it? Are you not convinced? Fan Peiming admitted it directly, which was called disdain, and said. I didn't leave you anything good, so I'm sorry for you. Zhuge Yuqing felt strange when he heard these words, this, dog talk. How dare you, dare to trick me, I'll kill you. Shui Jing was angry. At this moment, he was really angry. He wanted to kill someone and was ready to do it. But Shui Qingling stopped him and said. Junior brother Shui Jing, don't be impulsive, we are here for the origin of our ancestors. As she spoke, she pointed towards the thunder pool ahead and said. There. Shui Jing immediately looked around and saw that in the empty thunder pond, there were actually a bunch of birds in the water. Bird heart, bird lungs, bird kidneys, bird large and small intestines, bird stomach, etc. Even emit heat. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? He was confused. Shui Qingling, however, took a deep breath and solemnly said. If I guessed correctly, then, it should be the ancestor saint source. Ancestor holy source. Hearing this, Shui Jing was immediately shocked, but he was still a little confused and said. But, how can Xiu Shenyuan be a pile of internal organs? Shui Qingling shook her head and said. No. That's not the internal organs, but the holy source's incarnation. The ancestral saint source is a rare treasure of heaven and earth. If it evolves independently, after a long time, it may evolve towards life. Now it seems, these ancestral saint sources have already transformed into the internal organs. Maybe it won't take many years. Become a new holy source of life. She knew a lot, and she could feel that those internal organs did contain extremely sacred origin energy. Upon hearing this, Shui Jing suddenly became excited. Isn't it that they came here just for the origin of the ancestors? Sister, you stop them, I'll get the ancestral saint source. Immediately, Shui Jing rushed towards Lei Qi. Shui Qingling, on the other hand, looked at Zhuge Yuqing and the others, stretched out his hand and said. Although I don't know what the three of you are here for, but, Ancestor Saint Yuan, please don't get involved. Although this thing once belonged to the ancestors, but now it has become a must-have for all the imperial courts. If you take it away and cannot keep it, it will bring great disaster to your people. After she finished speaking, she seemed to hesitate for a moment, and then said softly, "Leave quickly before Lei Dao Emperor Ting reacts. If it's too late, you won't be able to leave." But Tuguyuking just smiled indifferently and said nothing. Fan Peiming and Fan Yaoyao raised their eyes and looked towards Lei Qi. There seemed to be some curiosity in their eyes. Shui Jing rushed over and was already next to those birds in the water. "What a rich divine aura, amazing, amazing." Shui Jing breathed in the smelly visceral breath and felt the taste in his large intestine, his face full of joy. Shui Jing, got it, ha ha ha, I got the ancestor saint's source." His eyes were very hot, and he immediately opened the Dao Jingdi, directly launched the birds into the water, and packed them all up. "Huh? There are still some holy origin stains on the ground." And Shui Jing saw that there were some traces of water on the floor of the thunder pool, and it looked very fresh. Such a precious thing, can't be wasted. Anyway, the ancestor saint source has been taken away, so I can use the saint source stains here. Isn't that too much? Immediately, he hurriedly stuck out his tongue and licked it towards the ground. Bliss! Bliss! That's called a powerful swing, a tight fit, and a clean lick. Seeing this scene, several people on the other side were all confused. This guy is really capable. Fan Peiming couldn't help but speak. Nausea. Fan Yaoyao shook her head. Even Shui Qingling felt a wave of excitement in his heart. Those holy source stains are enough for junior brother Shui Jing to use them for a lifetime. Shui Jing, on the other hand, was very happy and wanted to stand up, but he felt, "I can't move at all. Why, a little numb, my body, stiffened." Shui Jing was stunned immediately. And right now. Boom. As the last trace of the ancestral holy source was licked away by Shui Jing, Lei Dao Mountain lost its support and began to shake instantly. The entire mountain seemed to be about to collapse. Moreover, it's not just Lei Dao Mountain, terrifying fluctuations are overflowing at this moment. The earth trembled, thunder and earth roared, and for a moment, the entire sky felt it. What happened? What's going on? There's something going on over there at Lei Dao Mountain, go and have a look. The thunder and earth tremble, this is unprecedented. Countless pairs of terrifying eyes looked towards Thunder Road Mountain, and figures one after another arrived directly in front of Thunder Road Mountain. However, in front of Thunder Road Mountain, the strong men in Thunder Road stopped and did not dare to enter. This place is a forbidden area. The Thunder Emperor has personally set up a restriction. Although the mountain is shaking at this moment, the restriction is still there and no one can enter. Something terrible must have happened on Thunder Emperor Mountain. What's going on? Could it be related to the Thunder Emperor's conquest? You can't go in, you can only wait. The Thunder Emperor is descending now. Don't disturb him. We have to wait until his descent is completed. Many people spoke, although they were anxious, they could only wait. The thunder and earth are trembling, and there are changes on the side of Thunder Road Mountain. In a palace somewhere, an old man's face was full of excitement and he said, Shui Jing and the others succeeded. This person is clearly the powerful man from Shuidao Imperial Court, Shui Diheng. At this moment, his eyes were full of blazing light and he whispered. The ancestral saint source has been taken away, and the Thunder Emperor should also have completed his parasitism. Next, summon the darkness and gaze to let the Thunder Emperor die. This is the conspiracy of the Waterway Imperial Court. The Water Emperor is indeed one of the ancient emperors who has traveled the farthest path to parasitism. However, the path to parasitism, although the theory has been thoroughly studied, there is still a final step left. Experiment. No matter how powerful the Water Emperor, the Earth Emperor, and the Golden Emperor are, and no matter how deeply they grasp the path of parasitism, they still dare not be careless in the face of darkness and must seek safety. After all, since ancient times, everyone who comes into contact with darkness has died. Therefore, they gave the Thunder Emperor the method of parasitism, but their original intention was to make the Thunder Emperor their guinea pig. Let Emperor Lei try the method of parasitism first to see if it can succeed. Therefore, not only did they give the Thunder Emperor a parasitic method, but they also deliberately prepared to attract darkness, and kill the Thunder Emperor. In order to kill the Thunder Emperor, the Thunder Emperor must first lose the ancestral saint source. After all, the ancestral saint source is the most precious treasure of the ancestors. If there is this thing, when darkness comes, the Thunder Emperor may not have no chance to escape. He must be left with no way out, no way out. It can only die and then become parasitic again. If he can succeed, then the other ancient emperors can safely continue on the path of parasitism. Next, Shui Qingling will lead the darkness to come, and it's time for my descendant Shui Jing to use the Water Emperor talisman to return. He whispered. Everything has been arranged. He gave Shui Qingling a Water Emperor talisman. After the two of them destroyed the ancestral holy source, they could use the Water Emperor talisman to leave quickly. Even if there were imperial restrictions, they could not stop them. But Shui Qingling didn't know that the Water Emperor talisman in her hand was actually a black talisman that led to darkness. The talisman of darkness was obtained by the Water Emperor and others from the ancestors. It contains the energy of darkness, and when activated, it can attract the darkness to come. The Water Emperor and others once speculated that in the ancient past, those dark talismans should be things like fishing bait, which were used by the ancestors to hunt darkness. It's just that in today's world, the powerful in the world avoid darkness. Who dares to actively activate those things? This time, they prepared to let the Thunder Emperor die in the dark, which just happened to work. And the Water Emperor talisman that he actually used to escape has been secretly given to his descendant Shui Jing. When the time comes, Shui Qingling will be left to die and take the blame, while his descendants will return safely with great achievements. Haha, everything is under control. He laughed. Good night. Prevention and control has been exhausted these days. A drop of poison flies from other provinces and disturbs 100,000 lights. The pearl of the east is still bright, but Zhu is sad. Continue to work. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1106. Why are you here? Shui Jing saw Zhu Yixing and the others and spoke in shock. How did they get here? Aren't they already imprisoned in the sky prison by Lei Ting? Even Shui Qingling frowned and looked at the three of them in confusion. What, you can come but we can't. Fan Peiming said coldly. He didn't have a good impression of anyone in the imperial court. Zhu Yixing also looked at the two of them indifferently. He vaguely felt that it was a bit interesting, aren't Shuidao Diding and Lei Ting a cooperative relationship? As a result, people from the Shuidao imperial court secretly sneaked into Lei Dao Mountain? What do you want? But Shui Jing suddenly thought of something, and asked angrily, saying. Did you take away the Thunder Emperor's original soil, original water, original wood, etc.? He had always felt that he was being cheated, but now, only these three people were in front. It's probably them. Shui Qingling also became suspicious. Along the way, she still didn't believe Shui Jing, because in her opinion, no one could come in except them. Now, since someone else got there first, maybe those three people really dug those holes? So what if I dug it? Are you not convinced? Fan Peiming admitted it directly, which was called disdain, and said. I didn't leave you anything good, so I'm sorry for you. Zhu Yixing felt strange when he heard these words, this, dog talk. How dare you, dare to trick me, I'll kill you. Shui Jing was angry. At this moment, he was really angry. He wanted to kill someone and was ready to do it. But Shui Qingling stopped him and said, "Junior brother Shui Jing, don't be impulsive, we are here for the origin of our ancestors." As she spoke, she pointed towards the thunder pool ahead and said, "There." Shui Jing immediately looked around and saw that in the empty thunder pond, there were actually a bunch of birds in the water. Bird heart, bird lungs, bird kidneys, bird large and small intestines, bird stomach, etc. Even emit heat. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? He was confused. Shui Qingling, however, took a deep breath and solemnly said, "If I guessed correctly, then, it should be the ancestor saint source. Ancestor holy source." Hearing this, Shui Jing was immediately shocked, but he was still a little confused and said, "But, how can Xuanhuan be a pile of internal organs?" Shui Qingling shook her head and said, "No. That's not the internal organs, but the holy source's incarnation. The ancestral saint source is a rare treasure of heaven and earth. If it evolves independently, after a long time, it may evolve towards life. Now it seems, these ancestral saint sources have already transformed into the internal organs. Maybe it won't take many years. Become a new holy source of life." She knew a lot, and she could feel that those internal organs did contain extremely sacred origin energy. Upon hearing this, Shui Jing suddenly became excited. "Isn't it that they came here just for the origin of the ancestors? Sister, you stop them, I'll get the ancestral saint source." Immediately, Shui Jing rushed towards Lei Qi. Shui Qingling, on the other hand, looked at Tuguyuking and the others, stretched out his hand and said, "Although I don't know what the three of you are here for, but, Ancestor Saint Yuan, please don't get involved. Although this thing once belonged to the ancestors, but now it has become a must-have for all the imperial courts. If you take it away and cannot keep it, it will bring great disaster to your people." After she finished speaking, she seemed to hesitate for a moment, and then said softly, "Leave quickly before Lei Dao Emperor Ting reacts. If it's too late, you won't be able to leave." But Tuguyuking just smiled indifferently and said nothing. Fan Peiming and Fan Yao Yao raised their eyes and looked towards Lei Qi. There seemed to be some curiosity in their eyes. Shui Jing rushed over and was already next to those birds in the water. "What a rich divine aura, amazing, amazing." Shui Jing breathed in the smelly visceral breath and felt the taste in his large intestine, his face full of joy. Shui Jing, got it, ha ha ha, I got the ancestor saint source." His eyes were very hot, and he immediately opened the Dao Jingdi, directly launched the birds into the water, and packed them all up. "Huh? There are still some holy origin stains on the ground." And Shui Jing saw that there were some traces of water on the floor of the thunder pool, and it looked very fresh. Such a precious thing, can't be wasted. Anyway, the ancestor saint source has been taken away, so I can use the saint source stains here. Isn't that too much? Immediately, he hurriedly stuck out his tongue and licked it towards the ground. Bliss. Bliss. That's called a powerful swing, a tight fit, and a clean lick. Seeing this scene, several people on the other side were all confused. This guy is really capable. Fan Peiming couldn't help but speak. Nausea. Fan Yao Yao shook her head. Even Shui Qingling felt a wave of excitement in his heart. Those holy source stains are enough for junior brother Shui Jing to use them for a lifetime. Shui Jing, on the other hand, was very happy and wanted to stand up, but he felt, "I can't move at all. Why, a little numb, my body, stiffened." Shui Jing was stunned immediately. And right now. Boom. As the last trace of the ancestral holy source was licked away by Shui Jing, Lei Dao Mountain lost its support and began to shake instantly. The entire mountain seemed to be about to collapse. Moreover, it's not just Ladeo Mountain, terrifying fluctuations are overflowing at this moment. The earth trembled, thunder and earth roared, and for a moment, the entire sky felt it. What happened? What's going on? There's something going on over there at Ladeo Mountain, go and have a look. The thunder and earth tremble, this is unprecedented. Countless pairs of terrifying eyes looked towards Thunder Road Mountain, and figures one after another arrived directly in front of Thunder Road Mountain. However, in front of Thunder Road Mountain, the strong men in Thunder Road stopped and did not dare to enter. This place is a forbidden area. The Thunder Emperor has personally set up a restriction. Although the mountain is shaking at this moment, the restriction is still there and no one can enter. Something terrible must have happened on Thunder Emperor Mountain. What's going on? Could it be related to the Thunder Emperor's conquest? You can't go in, you can only wait. The Thunder Emperor is descending now. Don't disturb him. We have to wait until his descent is completed. Many people spoke, although they were anxious, they could only wait. The thunder and earth are trembling, and there are changes on the side of Thunder Road Mountain. In a palace somewhere, an old man's face was full of excitement and he said, Shui Jing and the others succeeded. This person is clearly the powerful man from Shuidao Imperial Court, Shui Diheng. At this moment, his eyes were full of blazing light and he whispered. The ancestral saint source has been taken away, and the Thunder Emperor should also have completed his parasitism. Next, summon the darkness and gaze to let the Thunder Emperor die. This is the conspiracy of the Waterway Imperial Court. The Water Emperor is indeed one of the ancient emperors who has traveled the farthest path to parasitism. However, the path to parasitism, although the theory has been thoroughly studied, there is still a final step left. Experiment. No matter how powerful the Water Emperor, the Earth Emperor, and the Golden Emperor are, and no matter how deeply they grasp the path of parasitism, they still dare not be careless in the face of darkness and must seek safety. After all, since ancient times, everyone who comes into contact with darkness has died. Therefore, they gave the Thunder Emperor the method of parasitism, but their original intention was to make the Thunder Emperor their guinea pig. Let Emperor Lei try the method of parasitism first to see if it can succeed. Therefore, not only did they give the Thunder Emperor a parasitic method, but they also deliberately prepared to attract darkness, and kill the Thunder Emperor. In order to kill the Thunder Emperor must first lose the ancestral saint source. After all, the ancestral saint source is the most precious treasure of the ancestors. If there is this thing, when darkness comes, the Thunder Emperor may not have no chance to escape. He must be left with, no way out, no way out. It can only die and then become parasitic again. If he can succeed, then the other ancient emperors can safely continue on the path of parasitism. Next, Shui Qingling will lead the darkness to come, and it's time for my descendant Shui Jing to use the Water Emperor talisman to return. He whispered. Everything has been arranged. He gave Shui Qingling a Water Emperor talisman. After the two of them destroyed the ancestral holy source, they could use the Water Emperor talisman to leave quickly. Even if there were imperial restrictions, they could not stop them. But Shui Qingling didn't know that the Water Emperor talisman in her hand was actually a black talisman that led to darkness. The talisman of darkness was obtained by the Water Emperor and others from the ancestors. It contains the energy of darkness, and when activated, it can attract the darkness to come. The Water Emperor and others once speculated that in the ancient past, those dark talismans should be things like fishing bait, which were used by the ancestors to hunt darkness. It's just that in today's world, the powerful in the world avoid darkness. Who dares to actively activate those things? This time, they prepared to let the Thunder Emperor die in the dark, which just happened to work. And the Water Emperor talisman that he actually used to escape has been secretly given to his descendant Shui Jing. When the time comes, Shui Qingling will be left to die and take the blame, while his descendants will return safely with great achievements. Haha, everything is under control. He left. Good night. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1107. Lei Dao Pure Land, on the earth, outside a huge palace. Has the emperor not come out yet? The sudden change in Lei Dao Mountain, didn't the Thunder Emperor notice it? No, when the Thunder Emperor came down, he cut off all connections between himself and the outside world. If you want to follow the path of parasitism, you must do this. A group of the strongest men in the Thunder and Earth stood outside the palace, waiting anxiously. I have ordered that the 36 strong men of Lightning should take action to stabilize Litu. But, it's just a temporary break, there must be a big problem in Litu. I feel the loss of the source, maybe there is something wrong with the holy source of Lei Dao Mountain. This group of powerful people talked a lot, but they were powerless. Lei Dao Mountain is a forbidden area. Even if they have a high status in Leiting, they dare not enter. And now that the Thunder Emperor is descending, they cannot disturb it. At the same time, in the main hall. Huh? Why did you fail? Lady's heart moved. As soon as he thought about it, dozens of lightning beams fell towards the Taoist scenery of these destiny Taoists. As a result, he followed the method of the parasitic path and wanted to plant the thunder seeds wrapped in the lightning in the Taoist scenery of these destiny Taoists. In the ground, they failed one by one. What's going on? There is nothing wrong with this method. The Thunder Emperor couldn't help but whisper. In his eyes, two terrifying thunder lights lit up, as if he was spying on everything. The operating root and the thunder seeds are all fine. As an emperor, he could tell whether the parasitic method that the Water Emperor brought over was correct or not. Otherwise, how could he take this path so easily? However, something went wrong now. Inexplicably, my own thunder seeds cannot be planted into the Taoist landscape of these Tianming Daizai. Strange. He waved his hand again, and dozens of lightning beams enveloped the thunder species and shot into the crowd's sight again. He carefully observed Yuanwuji's Taoist scenery and was cautious, but he still failed. Have you seen a ghost? Lei De was a little puzzled, so he simply gave up on Yuanwuji and turned to test other ways one by one. Jian Wuming failed. Zheng Shisha failed. Even the two young men who were valued by him and had a hint of black energy in Daijingdi failed. It's just outrageous. Is there any problem with the Water Emperor's parasitic path? Or, this route involves cause and effect that even the Emperor cannot set foot on? He became more and more suspicious. It's very possible. There is no problem with the route, there is no problem with the method, and there is no problem with the destiny. There is only one possibility. Everything is correct, but there is some kind of unspeakable cause and effect, or some unimaginable existence, that blocks everything? Is it darkness? Even though he was an emperor, he was actually a little frightened at this moment. Huh? No. However, he suddenly discovered something. He suddenly raised his eyes and looked at a middle-aged man. The perfect disciple of destiny, Ao Wushuan. At this moment, the Thunder Emperor sensed that his thunder seed had been successfully planted in Ao Wushuan's Taoist scenery. In an instant, Lady's eyes flashed with excitement and joy. I understand, it's not a problem with the law, nor is there any cause and effect stopping me, it's still a problem with Taoism. He instantly realized that others were not good, mostly because their qualifications were too poor. And Ao Wushuan is the real Taoist disciple of destiny, even the Taoist scenery is pitch black. Suddenly, he stared at Ao Wushuan, concentrating on observing the situation of his thunder seed in Xuanhuan's scenic spot. At the same time, he couldn't help but send the source power in to help the thunder seed grow quickly. But Xuanhuan was furious at this moment. Because, he discovered that there was a terrifying blue light source in his Taoist scenery. This blue light source is still growing. He felt that the surging thunder source power emanated from the blue light source, almost appearing as a vast ocean in his Dao scenery. Damn, what the hell is this? If this continues, I'm afraid my Taoist scenery won't be able to hold on, right? But, right now, in his Taoist landscape, the small black 9-story tower suddenly moved slightly. Those terrifying thunder power was swallowed up by the small tower and then injected into Xuanhuan's void land. In his land of nothingness, black lights floated, releasing a steady stream of terrifying black energy. The intensity of the black energy was as vast as the ocean, and could almost submerge the entire world. At this moment, under the stimulation of the emperor-level source power, the black mist flashed through a vortex and turned into wind. Xuanhuan, from the Najing realm, entered the wind-riding realm. Moreover, there were too many taboo auras in his Taoist scenery. It surged up at this moment, directly allowing him to transcend the Hinayana and middle vehicle realms, and directly reach the Mahayana. The wind is raging. The state of riding the wind requires the practitioner to consciously push the 5 qi incorporated into the void to turn into wind, thereby carrying oneself. External sources of energy can play a catalytic role. Many geniuses who enter this realm will be protected and guided by teachers. The stronger the power that drives the 5 qi, the more stable the cultivator's realm will be. At this moment, it was no different than a great emperor personally protecting Xuanhuan and helping Xuanhuan break through the realm of Changfeng. No one among the endless geniuses in Laitu has ever enjoyed this kind of treatment. Soon, hundreds of thousands of terrifying strong winds combined to form a terrifying black whirlwind, like a swing, rising into the sky, and wherever it passed, it seemed to destroy everything in the world. This is Fueo. Xuanhuan, the state of Changfeng has been completed. Awesome. At this moment, Xuanhuan felt extremely comfortable all over. He had a feeling that if he traveled on the Black Fueo hurricane, he could go to the 9 heavens to collect the moon, and he could go to the 4 seas to fish for turtles. Feeling of freedom. The Thunder Emperor was also very happy at this moment. He felt, his thunder power seemed to have merged with Xuanhuan's. Moreover, he could see that in Xuanhuan's dark Dao scenery, a blue flower of Thunder Dao was already in full bloom. This means that parasitism succeeded. Call. The Thunder Emperor breathed a deep sigh of relief, and immediately emerged from the state of descent. Suddenly, the Tianming Daizai around him suddenly woke up. Just now, they seemed to be influenced by some kind of force and entered a quiet place, involuntarily, but now, they reacted and returned to reality. What happened? Did I fall asleep just now? In my sleep, I felt as if something was moving in and out of my scenic spot. It was quite comfortable. This is Thunder Emperor. When everyone was surprised, someone suddenly saw the Thunder Emperor in front of them. They had all bowed to the shadow of the Thunder Emperor before, so they recognized it now. Greetings to the Thunder Emperor. Greetings to the Thunder Emperor. Everyone bowed down together. But Lei Emperor waved his hand calmly, and Xuanhuan suddenly floated in front of him. From today on, you are my personal disciple. You can call me your adopted father. Lei Dis spoke, looking at Xuanhuan, his eyes were full of love. This Xuanhuan is the foundation of his parasitic path. Hearing this, a group of Tianming Taoists were all shocked. Xuanhuan actually received such treatment? Xuanhuan himself was confused. What, foster father? However, he suddenly changed his mind. Wouldn't it be great to have a great emperor as your backing? Doesn't this mean that from now on, I can walk sideways? Moreover, there is a great emperor here, does he no longer have to be afraid of small mountain villages from now on? He was immediately delighted and said, "Meet the adoptive father." As soon as he said these words, Lady suddenly felt that his life was throbbing, his heart was flustered, and his breath was stuffy, as if, "It's like some kind of disaster is coming to me. What is going on?" He was surprised. Could it be that Xuanhuan had contaminated himself with something by worshipping him? But, at this moment, a loud shout sounded outside. "Emperor, it's bad, something has changed in Ladeo Mountain." Hearing this, the Thunder Emperor suddenly remembered. At this moment, he regained control of the entire Thunder Earth and sensed all changes in the Thunder Earth. Where is my original land? Where is my original water? Where is my origin tree? My brothers and sisters? The mother of my origin? Thunder Emperor's expression changed drastically. Why, couldn't he sense it? What went wrong? He suddenly panicked, turned pale with fright, and said, "Seal the Thunder Earth." Then, he grabbed Xuanhuan and disappeared from the place, heading towards Lidao Mountain. Xuanhuan is the person he values the most, so no matter what happens, he must make sure that this person is under his control. And at this moment, somewhere in Thunderland, why hasn't Shui Jing come back yet? Shui Dihen was very anxious, and the news he just got was enough to prove. The Emperor of Thunder has completed his descent. However, Shui Jing hasn't come back yet. But don't be discovered by the Thunder Emperor, otherwise, it's over, everything is over. Elder, we have to leave, if we don't leave, we won't be able to leave. Next to him, a master of the Water Path Imperial Court could not help but remind him in a low voice. Shui Diheng's face was extremely ugly. Could it be that something happened? Give me 5 more breaths. He was going to wait for Shui Jing for another 5 seconds. 5. The countdown had just begun when, suddenly, he saw rays of terrifying thunder erupting from the palace where the Thunder Emperor descended, and were about to cover the entire Thunder Earth. 1. Shui Diheng hurriedly spoke and said, "Run, run away." The lightning master next to him said, "Elder, but your descendants. If I don't care about his life or death anymore, I will die. Leave quickly. If it's too late, I won't be able to leave." And at this moment, on Ladao Mountain, Thunder Emperor's surrender has been successful and the barrier has been broken. Shui Qingling took a deep breath, she hurriedly walked over, helped Shui Jing up with all her strength, and said, "Quick, let's get out of here with the Water Emperor talisman." She took out her Water Emperor talisman and prepared to take Shui Jing away. Shui Jing's eyes widened when he looked at the talisman in her hand. He panicked, completely panicked, but his whole body was numb, his tongue was stiff, and he couldn't speak at all. At this moment, he was breaking out in cold sweat. He wanted to say, "Wrong, the one in your hand is not the Water Emperor talisman. It's over, are you going to be tricked and die here?" The key is that this feeling is too frustrating. He clearly knows that there is something wrong with the talisman on Shui Qingling's body, and he clearly has the real Water Emperor talisman on him to escape. But, we can only wait for death. He was so angry. "Do you want to leave with me? This is the Water Emperor talisman. I can take you with me, if it's too late, there will be no chance." Shui Qingling slowly activated the Water Emperor talisman in her hand, but suddenly raised her eyes and looked at Dugu Yuking and others. Hearing this, Dugu Yuking suddenly said, "If you want to save others, maybe you should save yourself first. What you have in your hand is not the Water Emperor talisman, but the talisman of darkness." Hearing this, Shui Qingling was startled. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xin. Chapter 1108. Dark Talisman. This is the Water Emperor talisman of the Water Path Emperor Court. Even though there are only 3 in the Emperor Court, how can there be any mistake? Shui Qingling didn't believe it. But, at this moment, she suddenly felt something. When she lowered her head and looked down, she saw that in this crystal clear jade talisman, which looked like chalcedony, there was a trace of black mist rising slowly. And her hands rotted instantly. No. Her expression changed greatly, she exclaimed, and she quickly let go. The jade talisman fell to the ground, and she stepped back again and again. How so? This is the Water Emperor talisman, how could black mist be born in it? Shui Qingling's eyes were filled with shock and confusion. Du Gao said calmly. Obviously, to the Water Emperor Court, you are just an abandoned son. The real Water Emperor talisman should be with him. He pointed at Shui Zheng. Hearing this, Shui Qingling looked at Shui Zheng. However, Shui Jing was completely speechless and panicked to the extreme. Du Guyuking waved his hand, and his Taoist scenery was released. Countless huge stars shone in his void land. Suddenly, Shuijing's Taoist scenery was forced to emerge on its own. Seeing this scene, Shui Qingling was even more shocked. What kind of scenic spot is this? Stars are actually born in it? What realm would lead to such a vision? However, she quickly realized that Du Guyuking's Taoist scenery clearly looked like the realm of Zilan? Is this the first small step to the soil, flying sand? But this, where is the flying sand? It is simply a flying star. This was the ultimate oppression of Dao Jingdi. She even felt that if Du Guyuking targeted her, she would have no power to fight back. Shuijing's Taoist scenery was forced to manifest itself. She immediately sensed something. Looking up, she saw that in addition to a bunch of birds in the water, there was actually a green light in the Taoist scenery, which was sacred. Incomparable. Then, Water Emperor Talisman. Shui Qinglin immediately recognized it. The one in the scenery of Shuijing Road was the real Water Emperor Talisman. Am I just an abandoned son? At this moment, Shui Qingling understood everything in her heart, and an inexplicable sadness and chilling feeling surged into her heart. As a saint, she accepted this mission without hesitation. However, she was used as a pawn by the imperial court. What was given to her was not the Water Emperor talisman at all. And along the way, she was even thinking about letting Shuijing earn more credit. At the last moment, she was still thinking about taking Shuijing away. Heartbroken, at this moment, she only felt a deep sense of heartbreak, being abandoned and betrayed. Du Guyuking, on the other hand, stretched out his hand and invaded directly into Shuijing's Dao scenery, and took out the jade talisman in Shuijing Dao scenery. Let's go. Du Guyuking opened his mouth and said. The Thunder Emperor is here. Immediately, he activated the Water Emperor talisman. Suddenly, a misty waterway shimmer enveloped him, Fan Peiming, Fan Yao Yao, and even Shui Qingling. Du Guyuking was ready to take her away. After all, Long Zixuan's clues were in Yuzhu, and she was the saint of the Waterway Imperial Court. This thing seems to be able to connect to darkness. Before leaving, Du Guyuking looked at the dark talisman again. He had personally fought against it on the forbidden ancient road in the Grey Mist Sea and the Cold K Mountains, so he could see its dark nature. Water Path Emperor Court, do you want to induce darkness to fall and deal with the Thunder Emperor? Although it is fun for dogs to bite dogs, it is not appropriate to let darkness fall now. He thought for a moment, and then suddenly slashed out with sword energy. Boom! Suddenly, the dark jade talisman exploded. A terrifying black mist contained in it suddenly appeared and spread. These black mist are obtained by the Waterway Imperial Court from the relics of the ancestors. After being refined and suppressed by the ancestors, although they cannot be completely destroyed, they no longer have the terrifying power of the source. Otherwise, a black mist can compete with existences at the level of the end of 10,000 paths, and the emperors in the world would not dare to touch it. Now, the formation pattern on the dark jade talisman has been completely destroyed, and the black mist inside has been released. This jade talisman can no longer attract the darkness. Moreover, although this black mist is not as scary as the source black mist, it will corrode the entire Ladeo mountain, and it can just buy them time. What kind of sword energy is this? Shui Qingling, however, was startled in her beautiful eyes. She knew very well that the Talisman of Darkness was a bait used by the ancestors to hunt darkness in the Age of Fire, and could attract darkness to come. This kind of rune has a very high status and cannot be destroyed unless the ancestors take action. But now, her thoughts were quickly interrupted by the mist, the imperial energy shrouded them, and then, their figures disappeared from where it was. Ho ho! Shui Jing fell to the ground. At this moment, he looked in the direction where Dugu Yuking, Shui Qingling and others disappeared, trying his best to shout. Take me away. No. I don't want to stay. I don't want to die. I am the beneficiary of all this, and I don't want to be the one who takes the blame. He was extremely frightened, but his whole body was completely numb and he could only make gasping sounds. Moreover, the black mist released from the dark talisman slowly dispersed. I'm not corrupted. I haven't been corroded by the black mist. He was very pleasantly surprised immediately afterwards. Yes, this must be because I licked some holy origin stains. Moreover, there is a holy source in my Taoist scenery. Calm down, as long as I can move, I can still walk. He was extremely excited. But, right now. Suddenly he heard the sound of footsteps. Very light, so light that it seems imperceptible, coming from nowhere. It was very heavy, and every step was like thunder being released silently, which was very frightening. Then, he saw a man appearing on the edge of the thunder pool. Every step he took, thunder lotuses bloomed, and behind him there were thunder shadows all over the sky, and huge thunderbirds flew as if they were standing in the sea of thunder. Just looking directly at this man, Shui Jing's eyes suddenly started to bleed, and he was blind. No. Thunder Emperor, I saw Thunder Emperor is here. He was wailing in his heart. The Emperor cannot look directly at him without his permission. As for the Thunder Emperor, his face was extremely cold and heavy at this moment. Looking at all this, he clenched his fists subconsciously. The original soil is hollowed out. Not a drop of original water is left. Not even the saplings of the original tree were spared, all were uprooted. The original fire lava has all dried up. Even the steps made of origin gold have been demolished. His heart was bleeding and the corners of his mouth were twitching. What a shame and humiliation. A great emperor, today, his own mountain of enlightenment, has been evacuated. Moreover, what caused him the most pain was more than that. The original soil is gone and can be accumulated again. The original water is gone and can be restored. The original wood is gone and can be reborn. But in the thunder pool in front of me, empty too. His own brothers and sisters, and the mother of Rato. A fierce light flashed through his eyes, and suddenly Shui Jing's Dao Jingdi was pressed to the point of collapse, trembling and manifesting. Lei Di took a quick look and saw, there were many internal organs. That's thunderbirds. Ah! At this moment, the Thunder Emperor looked up to the sky and screamed in pain. Tears fell from his eyes, and his whole person fell into great sorrow and anger. His mother. Was he killed? Even the internal organs were cut out. Water Path Emperor Court, Water Emperor. At this moment, he burst out with unparalleled hatred and murderous intent, saying, You sent this Shui Jing Shuzi to dig out the origin of my 5 elements, but actually killed my mother and ate her flesh. I am at odds with you. Lei Ting declares war with Water Path Emperor Ting today. With his anger, the thunder and earth roared. In fact, even the entire Xuanhuan continent outside was affected, and many people felt palpitations. When the emperor was angry, the world was shocked. What? At this moment, Shui Diheng and others, who had borrowed the emperor talisman to take out the Thunder Earth, had just left Thunder Emperor City when they heard roars that spread throughout the heavens. Shui Diheng looked incredulous, and he was a little dumbfounded. Shui Jing discovered the origin of the 5 elements of the Thunder Emperor and killed the Thunder Emperor's mother and ate her flesh. This, Shui Jing, what the hell has he done? He was shocked. Good night. Yesterday's 2 chapters were repeated, not because I wanted to tease everyone on April Fool's Day. But the first post was blocked. The key is that the recent merger between Midu and Yuan has resulted in chapters that can only be updated but not modified, so I can only post the same chapter again. As a result, today I saw that the blocked ones were also released, resulting in 2 chapters being repeated. Quite drunk too. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1109. Hearing the sound that spread throughout Xuanhuan continent from the pure land of thunder. Shui Diheng and the others were completely stunned. Shui Jing. Digging out the origin of the 5 elements of Thunder Emperor, killing his mother and eating his mother's flesh? It's over, it's over. Shui Diheng trembled at this moment. He simply wanted to fight back and strangle Shui Jing to death. What the hell did this unfilial descendant do? Let him steal the holy source of the ancestor, and he has actually done so many disasters. The key is, he was still caught by the Thunder Emperor. Originally, according to their design, when darkness fell, the Shui Qingling they sent to Lei Dao Mountain would directly rot, and Shui Jing would also directly leave. Even if the Thunder Emperor was furious, he would not know that it was the Water Emperor who did it. Now the whole plan. But it was a miscarriage, it was over. Elder, what should we do? We have leaked the plans of Water Emperor and her. The experts next to him all asked questions in trembling voices. Shui Diheng also wiped his sweat and said, "It's okay, darkness is coming, and the Thunder Emperor is dead. As long as the Thunder Emperor is dead, so what if he knows that it was our imperial court that did it? Who can redress his grievances for a dead man? Even if he is reborn after death, his realm will be greatly reduced and he will not be a threat to our imperial court." He forced himself to comfort himself. However, he felt despair in his heart. So what if the Thunder Emperor died? Now everyone should know that the Water Path Emperor court not only dug up the origin of the 5 elements against Thunder Emperor, but also killed and ate his mother. What kind of notoriety is this? How would the world view the Waterway Emperor's court and the Water Emperor? The Water Emperor has always cherished feathers, I'm afraid, he is definitely doomed. Shui Jing, you unfilial descendant, you were so greedy that you tricked your ancestor. He hates it so much. Thunder Earth trembles. At this moment, all the cultivators in the Lei Dao Emperor's court felt something. Suidao Imperial Court? Did Suidao Imperial Court do all this? Seal the Imperial Court and find the people from the Waterway Imperial Court immediately. No, they have already left. Hearing the announcement of the Thunder Emperor's selection, the strongest men in the Thunder Court reacted quickly, but they discovered everyone in the Suidao Imperial Court was empty. Gather the army and prepare for battle. Suddenly, the generals of the 36 divisions of Lighting were all angry and were gathering their troops. This time, even though the emperor fought at all costs, the Water Emperor went too far, making the entire Lei too extremely angry. On Lei Dao Mountain, the Thunder Emperor raised his hand, and those birds flying into the water floated in front of him from the Shuijing Dao scenery. His heart is bleeding. All of this belongs to my mother. Mom, I will definitely avenge you. He looked at Shuijing and said solemnly. Beast, I want you to suffer the most extreme punishment in the world. With a wave of his hand, the Thunder Dao cage suddenly appeared, and various torture instruments transformed from the power of the Thunder Dao fell on Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan watched the many instruments of torture falling, his flesh falling off piece by piece, and there were tiny thunderworms gnawing at him. Even though his whole body was numb and stiff, he still felt the excruciating pain, which reached deep into the bone marrow of his soul. "It's not me, your mother is not mine." At this moment, he screamed with grief and anger in his heart. Now, he finally understood everything. Those internal organs were not transformed by some sacred source of energy at all, but were originally the feces of a bird. It's just that it does contain the divine origin. Should the bird be eaten by those three remnants of our ancestors? Absolutely. I have shouldered a big blame. Eat the emperor's mother's fault. Bloodline of the ancestors, did I offend you? He was so grief-stricken and angry that he could only die in agony, unable to utter a word. The Thunder Emperor, on the other hand, raised his hands gloomily and put the water of the ancestral Thunderbird into his own Taoist scenery. "My brothers and sisters, are not dead yet," he whispered, and immediately, a drop of blue imperial blood essence appeared in his hand. He felt that although his brothers and sisters were not dead, they seemed to be covered by something. In this situation, his brothers and sisters are usually trapped in the Dao scenery. Moreover, in that Dao scenery, there is a substance that is not weaker than the ancestral saint source, covering up the secret of heaven. However, those Thunderbirds are connected to him by blood after all, and they can be found using blood as a matchmaker. This drop of blood evaporates quickly. Then, there was suddenly some mysterious flow of cause and effect in his eyes. He turned around suddenly and looked in a certain direction. He saw a group of people flying secretly in the sky of Thunder Road. Shui Qingling, the saint of the Waterway Imperial Court, and several bloodlines of ancestors. At this moment, he had determined that his brothers and sisters should be detained in the Dao Jingdi of those young people. "You guys can stay too." He raised his hand. In an instant, the terrifying big blue hand, carrying the power of billions of thunderbolts, exploded the layers of the sky. The Emperor's machine ran rampant and crushed the sky. In the sky, Duguyuking and his party, who were sneaking under the Water Emperor talisman, were suddenly crushed and appeared. Even the Water Emperor talisman refined by the Water Emperor himself, was suppressed to the point of despair, unable to break through the Thunder Emperor's suppression. At this moment, Lei Ting's 36 Thunder Generals and Thunder Soldiers, and a million-strong army, have all been assembled, and they are all looking towards the sky. "It's them." Lei Dongyun, Lei Xiao, and others' expressions changed drastically. "Aren't these bloodlines of our ancestors already imprisoned in the heavenly prison? The people from the Waterway Imperial Court are actually with them. This is a conspiracy. The Waterway Imperial Court and the ancestors have joined forces. It deserves to be killed, it deserves to be killed." All the Thunder Generals and Thunder Soldiers are roaring with murderous intent. As for the Thunder Emperor, he walked step by step towards Duguyuking and the others. With every step he took, tens of thousands of thunders fell from the sky, shattering the sky and making people breathless. "Discover my origin and kill my mother." The killing intent in the Thunder Emperor's words was almost overwhelming. He said word by word. "The daring ones, the treacherous people, the despicable and ugly insects, you will have to suffer for eternity to comfort my heart." When he spoke, every word seemed to contain great power. Puff. Shui Qingling couldn't hold on, vomiting blood, her face was pale, and her body was trembling. Fan Peiming and Fan Yao Yao also clenched their teeth, with blood flowing out between their teeth. Duguyuking also felt that his body was a little stiff, locked by the Emperor's chi machine. However, he remained calm, raised his eyes, and looked directly at the Thunder Emperor. "Audacious, treacherous, despicable and ugly." He spoke word by word and suddenly asked, The ancestral thunderbird was created by the ancestors. It did not intend to benefit the world. Instead, when the ancestors were suffering, it turned back on the ancestors, took away their origins, and killed the people until now. What if you skin and eat such a bold, treacherous, despicable, and ugly bird? His words resounded throughout the sky and shocked the entire lightning palace. How audacious! He actually dared to look directly at the Thunder Emperor and say such disrespectful words. Why didn't he die? The Emperor cannot be looked at directly. Anyone who disrespects the Emperor will be punished by God. How can he be safe? He must be protected by the Emperor. It deserves to be killed, it deserves to be killed. The 36 divisions of lightning and the millions of heavenly troops were all frightened and angry at this moment. When the Thunder Emperor heard this, the brilliant lightning in his eyes almost burst out and said, "You insulted the Emperor. Even if the ancestors of the ancestors come, you will die today." The Thunder Emperor raised his hand, and the endless murderous intent of thunder suddenly fell down. The great Emperor took action and was invincible in the world. The entire sky above the Thunder Earth was covered by terrifying thunder clouds. Destruction and death became the ending of everything. However, Duguyuking said coldly, "Emperor. Such a great emperor should be killed. Such a thunderous earth should collapse." As he finished speaking, a row of skulls suddenly appeared in his hand. Those skulls belonged to the bloodline of the ancestors. Since the pure land of the ancestors was destroyed and all kinds of precious origins were robbed, the tribes of the ancestors have scattered around the world and are hiding in the east. However, from time to time, peerless powerful people are born. They once made a move to the imperial court, hoping to get back what belonged to the ancestors. But, the endings are tragic. The masters among the ancestors were slaughtered one by one, and their heads were hung on the thunderous earth. Duguyuking did not leave, but used the Water Emperor talisman to remove their heads. Because, they have been insulted enough. Today, the thunder path collapsed. Duguyuking murmured, and then, dozens of ancestor skulls suddenly gathered into one word. That's an almost ordinary shape. It hasn't really become a common word, but it's very close. The moment this word appears, boom! Suddenly, all the rules in the pure land of thunder were suddenly annihilated. The entire thunder path pure land fell into great annihilation and great terror. Then, what is that word? Someone exclaimed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1110. The Secret Realm and the Pure Land are a world of their own. The cornerstone of the world is the Founder's rules. But now, the skulls of the ancestors have formed a character, and that character has actually eliminated the underlying rules of Thunder Road. The hatred of the ancestors of past generations has turned into a heavenly sword. The anger of countless dead people turned into flames. The heavenly sword cuts the rules, and the flames burn the pure land. Boom! At this moment, the pure land of Thunder Road collapsed, falling into a doomsday state, and the great annihilation struck. Ladeo Mountain collapsed, the mountain cracked, boulders rolled, and the vegetation collapsed. The land of the pure land of Thunder Road cracked, the cracks extended for millions of miles, the water was cut off, and the lake collapsed. Even the countless celestial palaces on the endless sky were like half of fireworks, bursting open like a grand fireworks. Bang 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 bang. Thousands of miles of thunder and clouds collapsed, and endless rules were destroyed. This is the collapse of the entire world. Thunder Emperor, help! Great Emperor, suppress this quickly. Great Emperor, please take action quickly. At this moment, many powerful men in lightning were frightened. This kind of catastrophe has already involved the underlying rules of Thunder Path Pure Land, and it is beyond their ability to participate. However, the Thunder Emperor at this moment actually. Close your eyes. He closed his eyes. It's like he can't look directly at that word. The Thunder Path collapsed around him, and the Pure Land was being destroyed, but he seemed to be aloof from it. This scene shocked everyone. What happened? That word, does even the Thunder Emperor fear it? There are rules in the world. The Emperor cannot look directly at him, otherwise he will suffer disaster. This is enough to show how terrifying the Emperor's character is. But now, something has appeared, something that even the Emperor dare not open his eyes to see. What a high level that must be, what a terrifying existence. At this moment, everyone in the Thunder Path Pure Land felt a deep fear. But then, those skulls exploded one after another. Boom. Just for a moment. Those skulls seemed unable to withstand the power of cause and effect, and were annihilated just by being close to that glyph. This is enough. Those skulls formed a shape close to that character, which has disintegrated the rules of thunder in this Pure Land. And Duguyuking and others had already taken advantage of the moment when the Thunder Emperor closed his eyes, and borrowed the Water Emperor talisman to leave the Pure Land of Thunder Path. The reason why he stayed was to give an explanation to those ancestors who died in the thunder and earth. They had fought tooth and nail to fight Lei Ting and take back what once belonged to the ancestors, and even had their heads hung in the sky, humiliated by others. Now, with their skulls, their long-cherished wish can be fulfilled. The thunder and earth collapsed. Great Emperor, what should we do? Thunder soil collapsed. What to do? The 36 members of Lighting were all asking questions in trembling voices. The sky collapsed, the rules disappeared, and the entire imperial court collapsed. The Thunder Emperor slowly opened his eyes at this moment. That person, the cause and effect related to that person. Those ancestors were all believers of that person, and regarded that person as their all hope, therefore, their skulls can actually stir up some causal waves about that person. The Thunder Emperor whispered that this was the reason why he did not dare to open his eyes. Even though countless years have passed, even though the era of raising fire has disappeared from history, even though the legendary person has long passed away. However, even if he is the great emperor, he still has to avoid the cause and effect, even if the cause and effect does not directly touch that person, it is just a wave. You guys should leave Lei 2 first and gather at Yuzhu to wait for me. I'll catch these little beasts and I'll come back later. Thunder Emperor speaks. In today's Lei 2, the ancestral saint source is gone. Even his great emperor origin has been dug away and the foundation is gone. In addition, the endless thunder path rules he evolved himself were also destroyed by some waves of cause and effect related to that person. In a short period of time, the thunder path could not be reconstructed. Lighting, really collapsed. Has the prophecy of the dancing master come true? He was extremely angry. How could a great emperor ever suffer such a shame and humiliation? However, he was not without a way out. At least, he had already taken the path of parasitism, the prophecy of Master Tiao did not come true after all. Now, the top priority is to regain the source of the ancestral saint and rescue his brothers along the way. The ancestral saint source also comes from the bloodline of those ancestors, and is the foundation for rebuilding Lei 2. As soon as he thought about it, he disappeared from the Pure Land of Thunder Path. As the Thunder Emperor left, the entire Pure Land of Thunder completely collapsed. The 36 chapters of Thunder Road, endless Thunder Generals and Thunder Soldiers, all fall out of this world at this moment and appear in reality. On this day, in the sky above Kaiwanzhou, there was thunder and thunder. Between the clusters of blue lightning, groups of terrifying men and horses appeared. They were all supreme beings in lighting. What's going on? Why are all the people in the Thunder Road Pure Land appearing? Thunder Earth collapsed, the world built by Thunder Emperor Fang collapsed. How is it possible, the thunder and earth collapse, who can do it? Could it be that there is an imperial war? Xuanhuan earthquake, this is a tsunami, frightened the world. The 36 armies of Leiting gathered together and headed towards Yuzhu. Declare war on Yuzhu. The Waterway Imperial Court wants to give an explanation. The Waterway Imperial Court colluded with the ancestors and harmed Lei Tuesday. The crime is unforgivable. The terrifying battle sounds of the 36 Thunder Road divisions spread throughout the world and attracted the attention of the world. And at this moment, over Xuanhuan, a wave of water traveled through the distance of time and space, tens of thousands of miles in an instant, and in the blink of an eye, it appeared above the terror beast mountain forest. Duguyuking and others fell rapidly. They finally saw the small mountain village in front of them. We can't stop, the Thunder Emperor is coming very quickly. Shui Qingling spoke anxiously. But Duguyuking smiled slightly and said, "Then let him go faster." As he spoke, he suddenly waved his hand, and immediately, dozens of thunderbirds in his scenery appeared. These thunderbirds are all brothers and sisters of the Thunder Emperor, but now they are all wilted. They were stunned, and they haven't recovered yet. Each bird has its eyes open. Fortunately, he's not dead yet, otherwise he would have been scolded by Master again. Duguyuking couldn't help but speak. His Taoist scenery is far from evolving into a place of life, allowing living creatures to enter. Generally speaking, living creatures cannot survive. However, these thunderbirds are extremely extraordinary, so they still have life. Immediately, he dragged such a large number of thunderbirds and headed towards the small mountain village. "Ancestor, let me drag it for you." Fan Yao Yao was very excited and came to help Duguyuking drag her along. When they arrived at the small mountain village, she seemed to have no fear at all. Even Fan Peiming looked calm. Now that he's here, what are he afraid of? A group of people walked into the mountain village. As soon as he stepped into it, Shui Qingling was shocked. No, the smell here. Not weaker than the Waterway Imperial Court. She was extremely shocked. She was born in the Waterway Imperial Court and is extremely familiar with the Pure Land of the Great Emperor. In the Pure Land of the Great Emperor, every breath of wind can become the forbidden air, containing the supreme origin, and every piece of soil can be chosen as living soil. Because the Pure Land is the world built by the Great Emperor, and it is the Pure Land for practice. But this small mountain village looks ordinary, but every wisp of air flowing here is definitely not weaker than the Waterway Imperial Court. Even stronger? How can this be? How could there be such a place in this world? Could it be that there is a peerless power among the ancestors hidden here? Hey, Yuking, are you back? Where can you shoot so many birds? At this time, an old voice suddenly came. I saw an old man sitting on the taishi chair on the roadside at the entrance of the village, drinking tea. He looked leisurely and at ease. When he saw Duguyuking and others, he smiled and spoke. Good night. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1111. At this moment, there was a huge earthquake in Xuanhuan. In the 3,000 states of Xuanhuan, in the sky covering hundreds of millions of miles of territory, thunder and lightning shook the sky, and thunder clouds rolled, making the hearts of the world tremble. 36 Thunder Dao armies are crossing the border with an astonishing momentum. They are crushing all parties and are invincible. The thunder drums are roaring. Immediately afterwards, there were terrifying sky thunders in the sky over the entire Xuanhuan continent, paving the road, exerting constant pressure on the world, and the Qi machine burst out, making the entire forbidden world feel it. Emperor. This is the Emperor's Qi machine, and the Emperor has stepped out. Thunder Emperor, the thunder and earth collapsed, is he going to take action? Is the Emperor's war going to start? The world was trembling, and countless creatures were kneeling down. This was an extremely coercive force. At this moment, not only Xuanhuan continent, but also other continents, there are secret eyes circulating. Yuzhu. Above the sky, there seemed to be ripples of water, forming a misty eye, glancing towards Xuanhuan continent. Thunder and earth collapse, darkness must have come as well, right? The entire cause and effect of Xuanhuan continent seems to be covered with a veil. There was a clear female voice whispering, and the being behind the secret eyes of the water was shocked to realize that Xuanhuan continent now felt undetectable. This means that there is an extremely terrifying existence over there. Darkness must have fallen. Die in the darkness, be born in the darkness, to test my method. There seemed to be a hint of expectation in the clear voice. Looking forward to the fall and rebirth of Thunder Emperor. Wanmazhu. There is the energy of the Mother Earth of all things, turned into black and yellow eyes, watching everything. Haha, Thunder Emperor is just a chess piece for me. If he can still be reborn without fear after being destroyed by darkness, it means that our route is really not wrong. Genyu Enjo. The golden light loomed between heaven and earth, as if it was above everything else. The method of parasitism, is it right or wrong? Darkness is coming, and the road has been deduced for countless years. Now, it's time to see the end. Now. Kaiwenzo. Boom. Snapped. Terrifying thunder and lightning instantly filled the land for hundreds of millions of miles. Thunder clouds rolled thousands of miles away, and lightning broke through the sky. Between the thunder clouds, there seemed to be a terrifying road of thunder and lightning, paving the way, and a supreme being suppressed it. The most terrifying thunder and lightning storm occurred over Yaiwanzhou. Above the terrifying beast forest, thunder and lightning roared, and thunder clouds were densely covered. All this happened only in the blink of an eye. As soon as Tuguyuking and others entered the village, thunder light filled the air from the sky. Above the nine heavens divine thunder, a middle-aged man stands with his hands behind his back. All the thunders seem to come from under his feet. He is the Lord of Thunder in the world. The Thunder Emperor has arrived. He looked down indifferently, his eyes extremely cold. I want to see if there are any remnants of our ancestors behind these people. One of the very important reasons why he came here calmly was to let the tiger go back to the mountain. Deliberately letting Tuguyuking and others escape first, so that he could find the heel behind Tuguyuking and others. Catch them all. Now, it has arrived. A blue electric arc lit up in his eyes, and he scanned below with his emperor's eyes. I saw a small mountain village in the mountains and forests. At a glance, this small mountain village actually gave him a feeling that he couldn't see clearly and didn't understand. How can this be? The Thunder Emperor couldn't help but be surprised. Could it be that, the status of this place is higher than the secret world created by the great emperor? Could it be the pure land of our ancestors? At this moment, he suddenly had this idea. The only people in the world who can surpass the great emperor's court are the once excellent Xuantian emperor's court and the only pure land of the ancestors. Could it be that this pure land still exists here? At this moment, a thought suddenly flashed through Lady's mind. The pure land of our ancestors is extremely precious. In the past, ancestral Thunderbird and others only divided up some treasures in the Pure Land, and they had already established his supreme Thunder Court. If the Pure Land here could be obtained, then, he, the Thunder Emperor, might even take the path of the Heavenly Emperor. In the legend, the reason why Emperor Zhantian was able to prove the Emperor of Heaven and dominate the ancient and modern times is because, he once owned a corner of the Pure Land of the ancestors, and there were even rumors that he himself was of the blood of the ancestors. If the ancestral saint source that the ancestral Thunderbird obtained before was just a drop of water, then a corner of the Pure Land is equivalent to a lake. At this moment, Lady was moved. Without hesitation, he waved his hand and 1,000 layers of thunder curtain enveloped Fang Tianyu, completely isolating him from the outside world. In this way, we can block the gaze of other great emperors, so as not to attract competition. The Pure Land of the Ancestors, I don't know what kind of danger it contains. However, he was also very cautious in his heart. When it comes to the ancestors, you must be careful. After all, those people were the existence that once challenged the darkness. My brother must have entered it, just wait for me to sense you. His mind moved and he immediately began to meditate. Although he couldn't see clearly the depths of this small mountain village, other thunderbirds from his mother's sibling must have entered, and he could get some vague perceptions through those thunderbirds. And at this moment, in a small mountain village, seeing the second uncle, Fan Peiming and Fan Yao Yao were completely relieved. They knew that this uncle was someone who could play chess with Senior Li. How terrifying would that be? It's simply unimaginable. Dugu Yuking also smiled and said, "We shot a lot of birds when we went out this time, and there is probably a big bird chasing us." Hearing this, the second uncle smiled and said, "No wonder he ran so fast. It turns out he was chased by a bird. Don't be afraid. We have beaten eagles in our village. Are we still afraid of birds?" Then, he stood up, walked over, looked at the bunch of thunderbirds that Dugu Yuking was pulling, marveled at it, and said, "I remember that this kind of bird seems to be very rare, I haven't eaten it much. Your harvest this time is really good." At this time, a group of children from the village ran over. "Brother Yuking, you caught so many birds. That's awesome, Brother Yuking, how did you catch him? Do these birds taste good?" This group of children were all urchins in the village. They were all very surprised to see such a bird. The leader, Wang Erxiao, looked at Dugu Yuking with excitement and said, "Brother Dugu, did you shoot it down with a slingshot? I have never shot down such a big bird. Can you teach me?" Dugu Yuking said, No, I grabbed it with my hands." Wang Erxiao was a little disappointed when he heard this and said, "I thought you also used a slingshot." "But," he immediately said, "can I use these birds to practice slingshot shooting?" Dugu Yuking said, "You can do whatever you want." Hearing this, Wang Erxiao was immediately happy. He looked at the thunderbirds and said, "Great, but why are these birds so wilted? Let's get some water for them to drink first." Immediately, a group of children ran to the nearby ditch, filled broken bowls with water, and fed it to the thunderbirds. When she saw the water, Shui Qinglan was shocked again, and her beautiful eyes widened. She was born in the Water Emperor court, and the Water Emperor, the most precious thing is the Emperor water left behind when she was in the water realm during her practice. That water was regarded as a supreme treasure in the entire Waterway Imperial Court. As a saint, she had only received a drop, and it was diluted. But, the water now, scooped out from the ditch at random, made her feel, even stronger than the Water Emperor's water in the Waterway Imperial Court. Isn't this too scary? And those thunderbirds had already drank the water at this moment. After the water entered their stomachs, there was a slight movement, and the stunned thunderbirds all became conscious. What is this place? Thunder Emperor's brother, Thunderbird Thunder Spirit, was in a trance at the moment. He just woke up, and then he saw the powerful ancestral saint source in front of him. Suddenly, he was so excited. "Oh my God, what is this place? Have you entered some kind of paradise?" He only remembered that he had taken the holy origin in the lay pond of Lay Dao Mountain, and then his whole body was numb and he fell asleep numbly. He did not remember anything else at all. So excited now. "Give me some more drink." He looked at the water in Wang Er's small bowl and shouted. But it only made a quacking bird sound. "Feed more." Wang Erxiao opened his mouth, he was very excited. The smarter these birds are, the better he can practice his slingshot. Immediately, a group of children gave him water. The birds chirped even louder. And at this moment, Thunder from the sky. Um. Lay Emperor suddenly opened his eyes, and a look of joy shot out from his eyes. Because, just now, he relied on the power of blood to sense things. I feel it, at this moment, a group of my brothers are frantically ingesting some kind of terrifying origin. Even, surpassed the ancestor saint's source. Their condition, seems to be very good.